La, 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 la. La, 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 la. I feel like I've completely forgotten the tune I made up for Leonie Dawson Refuses to Be Categorized, the podcast. And instead it ends up being like a blend of the Bluey theme song and and like Star Wars or Star Trek or something. I don't know, but ba 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 ba. Eventually we'll get back there, guys. Maybe, maybe not. It's just going to evolve ever more into whatever song's stuck in my head. Um. Anyway, my loves, I just wanted to share like a little bit of an update with you about like developing good habits and my meditation challenge, which is the one that I've been doing lately. So I've like 19 days or so into meditating, and I've been feeling a little bit guilty somehow because I'm not keeping like the comprehensive log about this experience like a experiment like I did with the last two. If you go to leoniedawson.com/21 day log, you can find them all there. And there's stuff in the log this time, but like it's nowhere near as comprehensive as the last two. Especially like when I quit social media, like the amount of research I did was just beyond on that, and I was so into it and so inspired. Um, because, and here's the thing, like I'm just not really diving deeply into research mode about meditation. I'm just meditating, and I think I need to remember like that's enough. And I'll be honest, like the my meditation challenge hasn't been anywhere near as life changing or and brain healing as giving up social media and internet browsing was for me. And again, I have to remember that's okay. I need to remember that these 21-day challenges are just experiments, and they are, of course, going to vary in intensity and results and my levels of obsession. Don't get me wrong, like meditating's great, but seriously, quitting the fucking internet was amazing. And most of all, I need to remember that there's no such thing as failure. It's just experiences and getting to play with new possibilities and documenting as much or as little as I can or want along the way. Anyway, over the weekend, I've been doing some research, just not as much as I usually do. And I started reading a book by uh, His Royal Highness the Dalai Lama, but I ended up having to stop because I just still felt so cross about the sexist remarks he made a while ago. And those remarks really just broke my heart. For so long, for me, he's been like this bastion of compassion and wisdom for the world. And now when I read his words, there's just this part of me that just feels desperately sad that he doesn't see the divine potential of women, unless, of course, they're a hottie. Like, ugh, that feels really hard. And 2020, I wish you had not gone down the rabbit hole you did, where even the Dalai Lama became problematic. Like, fuck. And I mean, this is the thing. Like, I don't want to write off this person's immense life work and deep wisdom for things that he's said. And I so hope that I can one day not feel so sad and triggered and can continue to learn from him with just a really happy and open heart, you know? Anyway, in other news, I've started a little bullet journal-esque habits tracker of all of the good daily habits that I'm wanting to maintain. If you head on over to the blog, you'll be able to find a picture of what it looks like, or I'll put the link in as well. If you go to leonardawson.com/podcast, you should be able to find it as well. But basically, if you haven't seen the kind of like a habits tracker, basically it's like a table, and at the top it's got all of the dates of the month, like 1st through to the 30th, and then down the side it's got like the daily habits that you want to try and incorporate. So for me at that moment, there's quite a number, so hold on. Meditate, blog, podcast, take my meds, do yoga, walk, eat well, keep a food diary, keep a hormone diary because I'm working with a naturopath now, read with my kid, journal every day, and money tracking every day. And then as each day goes, I colour in when I've managed to accomplish that task, that habit, and if I don't for that day, which is okay, I just put a cross there. And it's just kind of really motivating for me to color that shit in. I fucking love coloring in. And I really love seeing like how far I can get along and how many of those things I can actually color in each day. Like if I can get a whole one in, like all of the things done, then that's really cool. And of course, it's not something for me to beat myself up over. It's just like, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. So, like, for example, on the 16th, I went out with the kids that day, and we were out most of the day with friends and having mini girl adventures and stuff. And so I was kind of rooted by the end of that day. So I think I managed like a grand total like 4 or 5 of those habits. And that just still is still a success. It's also helpful for me to work out which habits have really stuck for me because I'm like doing them every day without fail, and which ones I'm still really working on implementing. And at the moment, that for me is walking. That's the tricky one to do every day. I'm not going to push it too hard though, because remember, I did like dislocate my whole pelvic bowl and prolapse a disc from walking last year, so I can't like push myself. Um, but I'm chuffed with the way that everything else is going. And in terms of the ones that I never forget to do are um, taking my meds. That's like done and dusted. That needs to happen. And making sure that I keep a food diary as well at the moment, just for my naturopath. So that ends up being super handy. Anyway, I'm just super encouraged with how many coloured in blocks I'm managing to do each day. And I don't like make my bullet journal like all pretty. Plus, I don't really call it a bullet journal because it's not dotted anyway. It's lined, and then I just do kind of bullet journal-esque activities in there. If you're somebody who wants to know more about bullet journals, I really like a e-course that my mate Katie Chappell does called Bullet Journal Gang, because she's not somebody who's like, yeah, you've got to make it all pretty, because like when I learn from those people, that makes me like completely head fuck myself, instead of actually using it as a way to be more productive and be more mindful and all that kind of stuff. So I love, like, during her course, she's like, yeah, just tear this page off. Like, oh, you could use scissors if you want, but rip! Okay, that wasn't super great. That's fine. I can cover that up with washi tape later. Like, that to me is very freeing. So I love that, and I love that book. Anyway, those are some things that I've been thinking of lately in terms of the whole not super researching meditationing and getting into daily habits tracking. It's very exciting for me. And I just feel really grateful for the amount of changes that I've been able to make this year just from doing these 21-day challenges. It's kind of really unleashed this whole lot of potential inside me and enthusiasm to actually do shit. Anyway, and before I finish up, I should remind you that there's only 12 days left before my prices double on the 30th of April. So if you want to learn how to get in control of your money, how to finish a book in 40 days and get your e-course done and selling in 40 days, you should go to leoniedawson.com/double and get in before prices ... double. Who would have thought? Okay, bye.